35 laps on the tank of fuel here. Even though the 6 cylinders with the 1 1/4 inch carburetor restrictor plates might be able to get a little bit better mileage than that. We have 6 of the 6 cylinders, V6s in the field. The first 5 in the lineup are all V6s, and then down the line in 16th position is Clay Young with the V6. So it'll be interesting to see how the V6s stack up against the V8 here today. Certainly they did okay in qualifying.
When we talked to Patty Moise on the grid just a few minutes ago, she mentioned the experience around her, and indeed that is the case with Red Farmer on her outside. Behind her is Lee Raymond and Jerry Churchill. Raymond in number 1 and Churchill in number 11. Grant Adcox, many-time winner here at Talladega, in car number 2 in the next row, and then Mickey Gibbs, who won the ARCA race at Daytona in February. The pace car pulls off of the racetrack and goes down into pit road. The cars come through the tri-oval. The start-finish line here is located on the straightaway just before you get to turn number 1, so it's down the racetrack further than it is at Daytona. Patty Moise leads down 41 other cars for the start of the 500-kilometer ARCA race. The green flag is out, and here we go.
Red Farmer was sitting on go when they dropped the green flag, Bob. He was able to jump out into the lead.
And Patty Moise just a little slow getting her car up to speed, and so she drops back into 2nd position as Red Farmer takes the lead. Lee Raymond is running in 3rd spot, but now Patty begins to pick up the pace just a little bit and draw closer to Red Farmer as the cars go off of the 33-degree banking in the 1st and 2nd turns and head down the long backstretch, which has no banking to it whatsoever. It's completely flat. There you see Patty Moise chasing Red Farmer. And look at Grant Adcox on the inside of car number 1, Lee Raymond, and Grant Adcox is moved into 3rd position already.
He has 4 consecutive wins here at Talladega. Really knows how to get around this racetrack, as he showed, moving up into the 3rd position.
Have pretty much separated themselves from the rest of the field. There they are, moving through the 2nd corner once again. The lead being held by Red Farmer. Behind him is Patty Moise, then Grant Adcox and Lee Raymond. And Adcox looked to the outside of Patty Moise. They're out of turn number 2. Now he looks to the inside. Will he make a move going into turn number 3? No, Patty Moise cuts him off, and we have a spin on the backstretch as a couple of cars get into trouble. Get a positive identification on that car. Looks like it's the 06 car driven by Mike Oliver from Guntersville, Alabama. And also involved is the number 89 machine. That's driven by Gary Weinbrewer from Brook Park, Ohio. So a couple of cars have spun off of the racetrack down into the infield on the backstretch, and that's going to bring out the first caution flag of the afternoon and reduce the speeds.
Quite a bit of damage done to the left side of Weinberg's car, Bob. You can see the left wheel is...
Adcox and Red Farmer come in for their final pit stop of the afternoon, and they do it on the same lap. The pit crews now have the responsibility in their hand to get their driver out as quickly as possible. Oh, and Grant Adcox spins on pit road and knocks one of his crew members. They have severed one of the air hoses. Let's go down to the pit area.
Everybody down here appears to be okay. The air hose has been unhooked. This is the worst kind of thing that you could have happen on a critical pit stop. Adcox just came in too hot. He lost it. He has now got the car turned around. These, by the way, are not all his regular crew members. Red Farmer is going to go out. Farmer's going to beat him back on pit road. That's no surprise. These are not his regular crew members. Most of these guys are from Billy Dingman's team. Greg Stash is the ordinary driver. They're going to change 2 tires on that stop to try to tighten the car up. They didn't have time, and there goes Adcox in a cloud of an awful lot of smoke.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think maybe the body is rubbing on the right rear. You think so, Ned?
Well, it might be, but he also was spinning that wheel. Here he is coming into the pits, and he just came in a little too hard and hit one of his crewmen, but the crewman got up very quickly, thank goodness. He was ready for it and sort of helped to throw himself away from the car. Here's another angle as he comes in. You can see the wheels are locked, and it just sends him spinning around.
And we have a crash on the speedway also as the 24 car of Paul Hansen has looped down the backstretch, so all kinds of activity going on now. Now, this does bring out a caution for those who had not made a pit stop, who will gain an advantage for them. The 24 car is sideways in the infield on the backstretch. The 34 car...
The car that was leading on the last lap in every race that was run at Daytona won the race. So
I think that's what we'd have to do.
No, we have a crash off of turn number 4. Two cars are spinning. One of them is Bobby Jackson, car number 71. He spins across pit road and is in the tri-oval grassy area, but he keeps the car headed in the right direction and just stands on the gas and will drive out of the grass and back onto the racetrack.
Meanwhile, the other car looked like it had to hit the inside retaining wall as Jackson gets his car off the grass and back onto the pavement.
The other car did come in contact with the inside wall coming off of turn number 4, and we have yet to identify that car, but here's how it happened. Look at how close these cars are running to each other, but the accident actually occurs behind this trio.
And it looks like the white car bumped, and that's the car number
66
of Ray Tucker, and the windshield flies out of the car, and
I believe the windshield also flew out of the Bobby Jacks car as it's laying now on the inside of the track. And there you can see the contact that Tucker has with the inside wall. Meanwhile, Jacks just gathered it back in and got it headed in the right direction. There's one of the windshields that did fly out of one of the cars.
Well, that happens many times when the car gets sideways or gets backwards. The pressure will just simply push it right out.
Despite the fact this is our 6th caution of the afternoon, really this is the first, well, I guess it's the second time because of what I would consider a rather serious accident. Every other caution period has been because of a mechanical problem on a race car or debris on the racetrack. It's been a very safe race here at Talladega, and now we see the number 71 car of Bobby Jacks, who was involved in the crash, headed for pit road. We'll be back. So a pretty good tussle going on for that 3rd spot as Sosby and Jerry Churchill have been battling it out, and now Churchill in the red and orange number 11 has gone into 3rd spot, and Sosby back to 4th.
Now beginning to size him up, Bob. He's looking at each side. He looks low for a moment, then he looks high. Whether he's trying to fake Red Farmer out, and I'll tell you, that's a tough job to do because that man's been around. Here's a crash, car number 77.
That's Don LeDuc has crashed, spinning down the racetrack, and this may mean an end of the race under caution.
And it's up on turn 4, but he gets out of the way of the leaders, and they'll race back to the start-finish line.
So Grant Adcox may be having to make a move right here if he's going to win this race. I don't think there's much debris on the track, and his car, LeDuc's car, is off the racetrack, but nevertheless, the caution has come out. This could be the battle to the finish right here. Let's see what happens. Red Farmer still has the lead. They're going to race off of corner number 4. Remember, the start-finish line is way down toward turn number 1, so they've got a lot of racetrack to go to that line. Red Farmer holding off Grant Adcox. Looks like he's going to be able to do it. Here they come. Yes, Farmer crosses the line. Will that be the end of the race? I think it might, Ed.
Well, it very well could be. The crew thinks it might be. They're happy, of course, that Red was able to beat him back there, and at least they know that they got a very good shot of this race finishing under caution.
Look at Davey Allison says, yep, I think we got it, guys. Because the pace car is in a position at pit exit to go onto the racetrack. And we've completed 114 laps, so when the pace car picks them up, it will be lap 115, and that's only going to be 2 more to go. So I think we're going to end this race under the caution. Well, here's what happened to car number 77. It's behind this pack. There it is.
And he gets loose, whether he cuts a tire or something, and backs it into the wall, and then it goes around. The front end touches the wall and just continues 360s around and around and around.
Looks like he was running pretty much by himself, so yeah, that may indicate that a tire was cut or something else happened that caused him to loop up there in turn number 4 and hit the wall.
This is Don LeDuc from Mount Clemens, Michigan. Of course, you can see it. He's out of the car.
Yep.
Trying to get his radio equipment unhooked.
There's the car, which doesn't appear to be too badly damaged. Most of the damage is on the right side, both at the front and the rear. Pace car has picked up the field, and we've only got a little over a lap to go now before the end of this race.
So they would be scheduled, I believe, to get the white flag the next time around, Bob, and then, of course, the yellow would still be out at that time, so I think it has to end under caution.
I think that they would be given a 1 lap to go signal, and that would be on lap 116. So, yeah, I think this race is over. There is the trophy that will be awarded to the winner, and it may go to car owner and crew chief Davey Allison, who's refreshing himself after serving in that capacity all race long. And there is the car that he owns and is the crew chief on. Its driver is Red Farmer.
Interesting situation. Davey Allison runs a number of the NASCAR Busch Grand National races, and Red Farmer is his crew chief when he runs in those races. So it reversed there today. Now, Red has done better as a driver than Davey has when Red was the crew chief. Now, I don't know whose fault that is, whether maybe Davey's a better crew chief than Red.
Well, the number that ARCA is giving us is 706 career feature wins, and I suppose that is accurate. But boy, when you think back on all the many years that Red has been racing, you think maybe that there's one or two more that they missed somewhere.
Well, he told me in a radio interview that I did with him this week that he had 706 career victories, and I said, well, when are you going to quit? He said, I don't know. He said, you know, when I got to 500, people started saying, well, is that the magic number that'll make me retire? And he said he just kept on going. He got to 600 and said the same thing. Then he got to 700. He said, heck, might as well go and try to make it 800.
Go for 8. This will be 707 for Red Farmer then. He was the winner here at Talladega in 1984.
And he does get the white flag along with the yellow flag as they come back. So if that thing will just keep perking on 5 or 6 cylinders until he gets around, it's his.
He ran his first ARCA race at Daytona in 1969, Red Farmer did. Won the 1971 Permatex 300 at Daytona. And Davey Allison and pit crew, they've really begun this celebration already as victory lane awaits Red Farmer. The white flag is already out, and the field is just circling under caution here before we do get the checkered flag. Jerry Punch, go ahead.
Well, they've begun the celebration already here in the Red Farmer pits, and Davey, congratulations, your first win as a car owner. It's got to feel pretty good.
Well, Jerry, you know, I'm just tickled to death for Red. We've been wanting to do this for him for a long time now, and to get him this win, you know, we know he don't have a whole lot of time left with his career, and he's been helping me out quite a bit, you know, and it's just a terrific thrill to do this for him. But I want to say thanks to a lot of people. First of all, I want to say thanks to Nathan Sims for everything he's done for us, and to my dad for letting us use this Wegner V6, and it's done a heck of a job today. And the old man has just done a terrific job out there driving it too.
The old man, they say they don't know when he first won his first race. Your dad said he thought it was in Rome in a Coliseum and he was racing a chariot possibly. But what did you say to him on that last lap when the caution came out? You talked to him that whole time by when he was trying to stay in front of Adcock.
Well, I told him he just had to race him back to the yellow flag, you know, and that there was some debris up there. We don't have a spotter, so I couldn't tell him where the trouble was, and I just told him the trouble was off of turn 4, and he had to race him back to the caution. I'll tell you what, he's just a hell of a race car driver.
No doubt about it. And you asked Bobby Allison how old Red Farmer is. He said, oh, about 107 or 8, I think.
Well, age means absolutely nothing when you've got as much ability and talent as Red Farmer has had throughout his lifetime, and he's showing no signs of stopping as he has defeated some of the middle-aged drivers and some of the younger drivers here on this awesome speedway this afternoon in ARCA competition. Pace car pulls high onto the racetrack, allowing Red to take the checkered and caution flag at the same time, and Red